Hello, hello, hello. It's your girl Erica, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am going to review Married to Medicine, Season 11, Episode 2. Tonight's episode was actually called Quad Gets Her Groove Back. Like I said, I have my notes here, and thank you for tuning in. Like I said, this is something new for me. This is only my second video, and so I am really excited because I really enjoy just reviewing the shows. And thanks for just stopping by and tuning in. I really, really appreciate that. So let's get started. This episode actually starts off with Aiden in the car. Aiden and Phaedra went riding in the car. And of course, Aiden is now a teenager. Of course, we remember his sweet moment in the car from The Real Housewives of Atlanta when Phaedra was driving Aiden to school for kindergarten for the very first time. And he was a little nervous and he was scared about going. And he told his mom that he wanted to go everywhere with her. And we thought that was just the sweetest thing ever. I never forgot that. So to see Aiden at that point to now that he's in high school and he's saying, Mom, all the kids are taller than me. I thought that was really cute. We don't really get a lot from Phaedra. She doesn't show a lot of herself. But one thing about it, when it comes to her kids, we do see a little more of who Phaedra is. We can definitely see her heart when she's dealing with her children. So that was really sweet. Shout out to Aiden. Aiden is a teenager now. Oh my God, he's going to high school. But that was really a really cute scene. Next, we move on to Dr. Simone and Cecil. They're talking about their Whitnick event, which seemed like a lot of fun, as I stated in my first review. Simone is a little under the weather. I think she had a little bit too much to drink, or she mixed too many alcohols and liquors together. So she wasn't feeling well, but they were just talking about the event and the success of the event. And of course, Cecil was having the conversation with Simone as to, his reason for actually inviting Quad to their event. And I think Simone was actually okay with it. One thing I will say about Simone is that Simone is not a mean girl. Simone tries to be a little stubborn at times, but she's not a mean girl. And I think that her and Quad, like I said in my first video, they will work things out on their own time. And Simone recognized that she was wrong about what she said at the reunion last year. So she said that she is going to apologize to Quad about what she said. Now she says as far as Nap is concerned, she's not ready to do that. And I kind of understand where Simone is coming from. I think I said in my first video that I would probably have some opposing views, and this is one of them. I like Quad. I really like Quad. I've always liked Quad since the beginning. However, I do understand where the ladies are coming from. Maybe they shouldn't have told her she had to go home in Napa, but some of the things they said I could kind of agree with. Quad has a habit of going in and out of the group. And I think sometimes maybe the way you feel about it oftentimes can sort of line up with how you are in your normal daily life. I'm a person that, I try to be loyal to my friends. I try to call my friends. I check up on them. I try to do, whatever I can for my friends. And hopefully I can get that back in return. I don't think that any relationship should be just one-sided. And with Quad and the rest of the ladies, it seems to be one-sided. So I think that's where they're coming from. If you, like I said, I've been watching the show from the beginning. And even if you just sort of, caught up and you're just starting to watch, just a little history about Quad. Quad has always been one of the ladies who would pull away in the group. Quad is one of those ladies that she will sort of go MIA, really without reason or explanation. She's grown. She can do what she wants to do. But again, in a friend group like that, it doesn't often sit well with the rest of the ladies. If you remember, when Quad and Mariah sort of had a falling out in season 2, Quad pulled away from the group then. And I can understand that. She wasn't sure where the other ladies stood because at that time, Mariah was like the top dog and she was the head honcho. And I think Quad just didn't know where the other ladies would fall in line. But she sort of came back around because she realized that the ladies really liked her. And so she was able to kind of get back in the group. Season 4, I think, about season 4, she also had an altercation with Lisa. And Quad fell out with the group again. Most of the ladies actually sided with Quad during that time. But again, in true Quad fashion, she pulled away. without any explanation. So, of course, she was able to come back into the group. They welcomed her with open arms and they completely moved on. Well, here we are again. Now, you know what? Let me correct that. I think that was season 3. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think it was season 3 when they had that little altercation, Lisa and Quad. So I don't want to say season 4, season 3. I'm sorry, but anyway, of course, she was welcomed back into the group. They went on with business as usual. Season 6, we see Quad, she's going through a divorce. That is a very catastrophic event in your life. Certainly, you're not going to be in the best mood. You know what I'm saying? You're getting a divorce. You're literally, it's almost like a death. Also, I've heard it's like a death. So I could understand why she needed some space and why she needed to sort of pull away a little bit. But again, you know, everyone tried to rally around her and try to lift her up. They were upset that she wasn't sort of letting them in or telling them what was going on. But at the end of the day, they allowed Quad to just sort of come back into the fold. No questions asked. Everything was just okay. I think it sort of put a wedge between her and some of the other ladies, but they were still able to move forward. So that was the third time. Now, another time, Quad became like a friend of the show, and then she came back full time. And once Quad came back this last time, um, Quad seemed different. She really seemed a little standoffish, and maybe because she felt that the other ladies were sort of icing her out, but she was a little standoffish. She didn't have a whole lot to say, and I think that kind of put everyone on edge with her. And so I can kind of understand why they did what they did in Napa. Like, I probably would actually feel the same way. I would say, look, you're not going to bounce in and out of my life like a ball. Either you're in or you're out. And so that's why I said I can kind of see where they were coming from. Of course, we know they're filming the show. Of course, there's a lot more behind the scenes that we don't know. But just from what we can see as the viewers, I can side with the ladies on this one and say I probably would have felt the same way. So, but anyway, Quad, you know, again, I'm glad that Simone said that she was going to apologize to Quad because she should. So going forward, Dr. G and Sweet Tea had lunch, and they were just having like a regular, you know, normal conversation as any, you know, couple will when you go out to eat. And there was a little baby across from them, and Sweet Tea sort of said, you know, hey, she mentioned something about the fact of, you know, maybe we'll have one of those soon, or maybe we can start working on hours and stuff like that. She just made a little comment like that. And I kind of feel bad for Sweet Tea. I know a lot of people really don't like Sweet Tea, but I feel bad for her. And let me tell you why. I can relate to Sweet Tea. I never promised my mate a baby. I never did that. However, I have been a person that has struggled with endometriosis and fibroids, and they are no joke. The toll that it takes on your body is a lot. I actually suffered 2 miscarriages. I was never able to give birth to my children, and ultimately, I ended up having a hysterectomy. I really hope and pray that Sweet Tea doesn't have to go that route. I know that she's already had one surgery, or she's definitely had maybe a couple of procedures, but I know she had the surgery last year. And the reason why I feel for Sweet Tea is because when you're a woman and you really want to have kids, you tend to feel like a failure. And I don't know Sweet Tea. I've never spoken to her, have never had a conversation with her, not even online or on any social media network or anything like that. But as a woman, when you have the fibroids and you have endometriosis, oftentimes you feel like you kind of have this why me syndrome. You go through that. And I'm sure she's sort of questioning, like, why me? I really want to have this baby with my husband. I know she spoke prematurely and telling Dr. G that she could give him what he wanted. And, you know, at that time, it was probably like a joke, like, haha. But at the same time, and she could have been serious, but at that particular time, she meant what she said, and she still means what she says. I just think that her body is going through a lot, and I think she has a lot of pressure on her to sort of perform and live up to what she sort of promised Dr. G. And I know she's very discouraged, and she's probably just a little disappointed that it hasn't happened yet. So for me, I'm a little soft with Sweet Tea. I'm a little gentle with that way because I know as a woman, what that feels like. And for you to not be able to have kids, or even the possibility of not being able to have children, it is like, oh my God, it's devastating for you. I know a lot of people saying she had to know that she couldn't have children or that she was going to have issues. Well, with the fibroids and endometriosis, there's always a chance that you can. There's a chance that you can. There are some people who have had fibroids and endometriosis and they've been able to successfully give birth to their children. Then there are some that have had a lot more complications. So as far as saying that she knew that she had some issues, but she probably wasn't trying to get pregnant before, now. She probably wasn't really actively trying to have a baby. That doesn't mean that she wasn't intimate with her other partners prior to Dr. G, but she probably wasn't trying to have a baby like in her 20s, or she probably wanted to wait till she got married to actually settle down and have children. So now, when I hear people saying that, yeah, there's a possibility, but then there's a possibility that she didn't know. And I just wish that people would kind of be a little more lenient, because at the end of the day, she is a human being. Despite it, it doesn't matter if you don't like her personality. She's still a woman, and she is, struggling with not being able to get pregnant, and that's scary for her. Just to give you a little backdrop, fibroids can mess up your life in a sense where, you're constantly in pain. Sometimes you go from having an active sex life to no sex life at all. Sometimes, or the sex life decreases because you're in pain. You have these heavy menstrual cycles. Sometimes they come irregularly. And then the bleeding is so heavy. So a lot of people don't know this is kind of like an epidemic, especially in the Black community, with Black women and fibroids. Like I said, I had a hysterectomy and I feel so much better. Of course, there were other, little side effects. Like, of course, my hormone levels are a little lower now. And of course, I have gained weight. But as far as how I feel much better not having to deal with what I had before. But anyway, I'm hoping and praying that Sweet Tea and Dr. G will be able to have their little baby and she can become a mom. I'm rooting for her as far as that's concerned. I really, really am. We move on next to Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie is the doctor of all doctors. What can I say? She's the creme de la creme. I know, there were some things that Dr. Jackie said that weren't so favorable and people were a little upset with her. But Dr. Jackie is the most sophisticated, elegant, most gracious woman Black woman that I've seen in a very, very long time, especially on television. Dr. Jackie she just has it to me. And it's like God just kissed her forehead and said, you're going to be an OBGYN. You're going to deliver babies. And I can just tell that she's not just a good doctor, but she's probably a great doctor, a dynamic doctor, a phenomenal physician. I mean, probably A1 across the board. And I like to see her with her patients. Of course, she has a lot of celebrity patients, but I actually like to see Dr. Jackie just having, normal conversations, sometimes even with the little children. There was a few years ago, she had a scene with the cutest little girl. Her name was Taylor, and her mom was there. Her mom was expecting again, and Taylor was telling like all of her mom's business about all the little snacks and stuff she was eating and stuff like that. And I like to see Dr. Jackie have those kind of conversations. I like to see Jackie sort of being in her little soft era and sort of being, really soft with the kids and stuff like that. I like to see that. But also, Jackie is just a phenomenal doctor. One thing about Jackie pretty much gives her professional life. She gives us that. We don't know a whole lot about her personally. Now, of course, we know that she had her issues with Curtis during the whole cheating thing. And then we also were privy to what happened with her dad and him having the dementia, Alzheimer's disease. That was really, really tough on her. So we remember those times in seasons 4 and 5 where she was really dealing with some personal things. And Other than that, Jackie's happy just giving us all of her professional life, all of this, that medical side of her. And I really don't expect a whole lot more from Jackie because that's just Dr. Jackie. But one thing I will say, Jackie is the oldest one in the group, but Jackie is super duper fly. She looks good. She dresses extremely well. Like she dresses to a T. Like she puts some of these other ladies to shame. Like Dr. Jackie is just I like Dr. Jackie. She's just a sophisticated lady. So whether I see a lot of her personal business or not, yeah, I would like to see a little more for Jackie. From Jackie, I would like to see her hosting in her home a little more and stuff like that. But then again, I always get some medical information from Dr. Jackie every year. So I just kind of expect for it to be that, and then I kind of move on from it. That's Dr. Jackie. What else can we say? So then we move on. And we find out that Quad is having a birthday party. Quad is another one who has really, really nice events. We know that there are some people in the group that really throw parties or throw events. Like we know, we've seen Toya throw parties, and Quad is another one who's thrown parties over the years. Simone and Cecil normally have something, but again, Simone and Cecil are like the down to earth fun couple. Like even if you went to their house for just like pizza and wings and a spades game, you would probably have the time of your life. So even though it's not like an extravagant event, they still host fun events. But Quad is pretty much known for like the over the top extravagant parties and events. So I'm sure this one wasn't going to be any different. So Quad was driving around town, passing out her invitations, and she stopped by Dr. Simone's office. And so when the ladies brought Dr. Simone the invitation, Dr. Simone asked where Quad was, and they said that Quad was outside. And Dr. Simone heads out, and of course, what you saw was them connecting. And it wasn't fake. It was definitely real. That's what I mean. There is a love and respect between Quad and Simone, Dr. Simone, that maybe a lot of people don't understand. Although they're not the best of friends and they're not as close as they once were, they still have love and respect for one another. So when we see them hugging and when we see them coming together and even sharing a little laugh or exchanging a couple of words, it's very real. It's very sincere because that's how they are and they genuinely mean it. So that was like a cute little moment for them. And I hope at some point that we do actually see the two of them sit down together without anyone else and really just kind of hash it out so that they can get back on track. So that was cute. Of course, Quad goes to Dr. Contessa's house. And Sweet Tea is there during the process. They're just talking. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Contessa and Sweet Tea just have a friendship by default only because they don't like Heavenly. That is possible. But if you think back, Dr. Contessa has always been like a cool chick. Like, she doesn't take herself too seriously either. She's always been one, even when she came to the show, she was willing to get to know everyone. And she's always sort of like embraced everybody. Contessa is probably one of those people, if you see her on the street, she'll probably have a full conversation with you. So she doesn't give me the type of person that's just super duper fake like that. She and Sweet Tea, Contessa and Sweet Tea were in the military, so they can kind of connect on that level. Like I said, is their friendship rock solid? No, I can't say that, but I wouldn't say that it's completely fake because again, Dr. Contessa doesn't seem to be a person that sort of she doesn't sort of put people through the test when she meets them. So maybe they're friends, maybe they're not. It doesn't seem to be too fake to me. But anyway, when when Quad gave her the invitation, of course Tess said that Sweet Tea was there, and Quad was like, okay, we won't be doing that. We won't be speaking to her. I have to go. And it's okay. I mean, Quad and Sweet Tea have had enough awkward moments. And I think now we can kind of move past it. It's kind of like, Quad didn't owe Sweet Tea an invitation to her party, and Sweet Tea really should not have even expected that invitation at all. So it was kind of like, okay, it wasn't even a bad thing. Quad definitely wasn't wrong about it. Whether Quad spoke to Tea or not, Sweet Tea or not, it doesn't matter. Like I said, again, they've been put in some awkward situations, and I just wish that if they're going to be on the show together, I really wish that they would sort of kind of come to an agreement where it could be like cordial and it doesn't have to be so weird between them. I really wish that Sweet Tea wouldn't kind of allude to the fact that maybe Quad could be a little jealous or something like that. Girl, Quad is fine. She has moved on. She is completely fine. Sweet Tea, I'm telling you, out of all the ladies, probably Quad will probably be your girl. Like you and Quad might, I'm not saying you would be friends, but I really think that Quad would kind of be a little more genuine with you if you would kind of let your wall down a little bit. So anyway, we can move on from that. Because like I said, it wasn't a whole lot going on in this episode. It was really just gearing up for Quad and her party and her big reveal. So anyway, the ladies are getting ready for the party. Of course, there's Contessa, Toya, and Dr. Simone getting ready. Of course, Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Jackie are getting ready. I can't even remember where Phaedra was. I don't even know if they showed Phaedra. But anyway, sidebar, I just want to say this. I really miss Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone being good friends. Maybe they're close, maybe they're not, I don't know. But I would like to see more scenes with them. I miss them. And they just had a genuine friendship and a sisterhood, and it doesn't seem to be the same. I kind of feel like I said, I don't know them, but I just kind of feel like they were meant to be friends. Like what happened between them, it happened, but I don't even know if it's something that should have happened between them. I know, we always say the cliche, we hear it all the time. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Well, I think that Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone are lifetime friends. And I keep saying this. Dr. Jackie always said that Simone was there for her through one of the hardest times of her life, when she had cancer. And I just keep saying to myself, I hope that nothing would ever come to the point where something like that would happen again to bring them back together, because I genuinely believe that they were meant to be sisters for life. So I hope they can get that straightened out. I would love for them to just like go on vacation together and just hang out together away from everyone else. We don't even have to see it. They don't have to film it. We don't even have to see any like pictures. They don't have to post it on Instagram or anywhere else or any other social media page. Just, you guys, just try to work on that, because you guys are meant to be friends and to be sisters for life. I really see that, and I really, really feel that. But again, the girls were getting ready, and so it's kind of like a divide in the group. It's an us versus them type thing. So it's sort of Quad, Dr. Jackie, and Heavenly on one side, and then there's Sweet Tea, Contessa, Toya, and Dr. Simone on another side. Phaedra is really not a part of anything, because Phaedra doesn't fit in with this group at all. We wanted her to, and I don't want to say we wanted her to, but we just wanted a little more from Phaedra. And you can just tell that Phaedra does not enjoy being around the ladies, or she just doesn't, it's something in her that she just cannot open up and share. And it's kind of awkward to watch with her too. But anyway, the ladies get dressed. I really didn't see anyone that, no one's outfit for me stood out. Like, to me, Dr. Jackie always looks good. I already told you that. Even Dr. Heavenly, she looked really, really nice. Like, Dr. Heavenly has worked on her body. Of course, she's been very open and honest about having, some work done, and she's starting to work out and all of those things. Dr. Heavenly looks really good. Like, Dr. Heavenly, girl, you look good. And I'm glad that she's sort of getting out of the old-fashioned clothes, the grandma clothes. Dr. Heavenly was into like the old-fashioned, she would always just wear jeans and like a grandma top and her slingbacks. But, number one, I know those Bravo checks are looking really, really good. But I'm also glad that she's embracing her new body now. I mean, even when you're full figured and you're a full figure woman, you still can find things that fit your body. You need to learn how to do things that, that sort of can like clothes that fit your body. It doesn't have to be super duper tight, but it doesn't have to be baggy either, because that oftentimes puts weight on you. So you have to kind of study your shape. Like for me, I've always been a pear shape. Although I was smaller, much smaller before I had the hysterectomy, I am a pear shape. Like, of course, I have broad shoulders because I play volleyball, but I have like a small waist, and I'm bigger at the bottom. It's always been that way. I've always carried most of my weight like in my hips and my thighs, and yeah. But you have to kind of get to know your body. You have to find things that are really good for your body. So I'm glad, I didn't want to get off subject, but I'm glad that Dr. Heavenly is actually putting on things that, show her curves. Heavenly, you look good, and keep doing it that way. You don't need to wear those old fashioned clothes anymore, child. Throw that, as a matter of fact, get rid of that closet, throw everything out of that closet, and just start fresh, girl, because you can wear anything, whatever you want to wear now, you can wear it. If it's age appropriate, because I don't see Dr. Heavenly just going out of the house looking like, looking like a hoochie mama or anything like that. But she can actually wear curve hugging clothes now. So it was good to see her in a nice dress. But no one really stood out to me. I honestly liked, Toya and Dr. Simone had the sunglasses on. I really liked that look on both of them. I didn't see where, like I said, to me, everyone just looked nice, or they looked decent. It was a Moulin Rouge thing. I did not like Contessa's outfit. Oh my God. Contessa it's getting worse. Contessa has money. Contessa has now lost a lot of weight. Contessa had a nice body all before, she even lost all this weight, but she's even smaller now. Contessa, you have to do better, girl. You just have to do better. Lord have mercy. You have to do better. I mean, here we are, a lot of us are average working Americans, and we dress probably 3-4 times better than some of these ladies on television. They have to do better. But anyway, we can move on from that. But again, because of the theme, that's why I was talking about what everyone had on. Like I said, probably Dr. Jackie and Dr. Heavenly looked the best. I know a lot of people said that they didn't like Simone's outfit, but Simone looked fairly decent, all things considered. From how Simone has looked in the past, Simone looked fairly decent. So I was a little surprised about that. But anyway, at the party, they sort of try to find out who's hosting the party, and I think they were asking. I think it was Toya and Quad. I'm sorry, Toya and Simone. They were saying, who's hosting the party, and the lady just happened to say, "Oh, her boyfriend paid for this party, or her boyfriend did everything," and they were kind of taken aback, like, "Oh, okay." And I think that they were really shocked. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that, because Quad should not have told them that she has a man or a new man in her life. She hasn't been talking to them. So it's not like she's going to just pick up the phone out of the blue and say, "Hey, you guys, I'm in a new relationship." So, but it was funny when they were all like asking all of the men, as they passed by, "Hey, are you dating Quad? Are you Quad's man?" They were all being very inquisitive. And I thought that was funny, because they had no idea of who he was. They were all trying to figure out, if they could find out who was going to be the first one to find out who Quad's man was. But anyway, Quad's man was revealed. And honey, Mr. King is a king. Let's just say that. He is all man. He is handsome. He is nice and chocolate and sexy. We can call him Mr. Chocolate, honey. Mr. Chocolate 2.0. That is who King is. And he seemed like a really nice guy. Of course, we don't know anything about him, but Quad seems to be really, really happy with him. And it was nice to see her. Of course, she was the little softer side of Quad. And, of course, we know Quad is dramatic. She will put on a show, honey. She will give us, a Nia Long, a Gabrielle Union. She will go into her acting mode. But I really genuinely believe that Quad is happy with King. And it was good when King, she introduced King to the ladies. And I think the ladies, they were looking, they were saying, "Okay, Quad, yeah, girl, he is nice looking." I don't think any of them could deny that. Not that they wanted him, but no one can deny that he's a decent looking man. He's a handsome man. So that was good to see. And Quad probably had in the back of her mind, like, yeah, eat your heart out, ladies. You iced me out of the group, but hey, I was working on this while y'all were working on trying to get me out. So it's probably, I'm sure she kind of had that in the back of her mind and was kind of smiling to herself when she saw everyone's reaction about her new man. But anyway, that was pretty much the gist of the episode. The end of the episode was actually where the guys went out for drinks, and it's good to see the guys, have their own scenes. Let's be real. The men of Married to Medicine have been an intricate part of the show for a very long time now. Excuse me. They've been an intricate part of the show for a very long time. And, I wouldn't expect it any other way. I like seeing the guys. I like their scenes. I like to see the guys interacting. Of course, I know some people don't want the men in the women's business. I get that part, but they've been such an intricate part of the show from the beginning that it's kind of hard to kind of separate them from the ladies now. And so they had their own scene, and they went out to like a little bar or something like that. Seemed like a really nice place. Let me just start off by saying this: Dr. Jackie. I told you Dr. Jackie dress is really, really nice. I'm trying to figure out, when are you going to help Curtis with his wardrobe? This man came to the bar with a shirt that had sailboats on it. I mean, Curtis, come on. You're not on vacation. You're not at the beach. I'm sure you took the time to even iron your shirt. Curtis is an old-fashioned guy. I'm sure he was very neat and clean when he came to that bar. But sailboats, though, Curtis, Dr. Jackie, you have to help him out. You have to find Dr. Curtis something in his size that does not have that kind of print on it. I know he's big and tall, but Dr. Jackie, help your husband out. But anyway, the guys were talking, and they were sitting around. And it seemed to me that Dr. Damon had a chip on his shoulder. I didn't like that. Of course, we know, I said in my first video, and of course most of you know because you've been watching too, that Heavenly called Dr. G the P word. And Dr. G is very angry about that. But Dr. Damon seems to be oblivious to it. I know that it's been said in the past that he doesn't, he's not on social media and he doesn't really watch the show. But I'm starting to think, does Dr. Damon really know exactly what Heavenly said? Did she really tell him? He cannot walk around and act as if that would not have bothered him. If the shoe was on the other foot, Dr. Damon, I'm quite sure, would have said he will never be on this show ever again. If that had been said about him by one of the wives, Dr. Damon would have put his foot down and said, I am not returning to this show. And he probably would have told Heavenly, we are coming off of this show because I am not going to allow this show to take away the hard work that I've done in this medical field. So I'm kind of like taken aback a little bit by like how Dr. Damon is acting. He's acting a little arrogant. And what I can see in Damon is that he's a quiet man, but it's like a volcano ready to erupt. I don't know if everything that's happened over the years with Dr. Heavenly falling out with Contessa and Simone, and, there have been some grievances between, Heavenly and some of the other ladies, and it just seems like Damon can't take much more. It seems like he's ready to like explode, or he's ready to erupt. And this time, I think he may almost do it at the wrong time. He seems to be full, like he's up to here. But at the same time, like you're telling Dr. G, you seem a little sensitive, but who would not be sensitive? What medical doctor would not be sensitive being called the P word? What doctor wouldn't be sensitive when all of their credentials, all of their accolades, everything he's done to build his own practice could be thrown out of the window? I mean, if this thing really took legs and really started running and people started running with this, he could lose his patients. He could lose his career. For all we know, he could be sitting out on the side of the road and could lose everything he had. I'm not saying that he's poor in any way. I'm not saying that he doesn't have money in the bank. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is there could be extreme consequences to what was said about him. And it could affect not only his professional career, but it could affect his personal life. And that's what I don't think that Damon is grasping. He seems to be sort of like out of the loop. And even Eugene even said, like, are you here? Are you really here? Are you okay? Because again, being called that is really, really bad. If another wife had called Dr. Damon that, Heavenly would have lost her mind. Heavenly would have lost it. She would not have been able to keep her cool. I mean, it would have been hell to pay forever had someone said that about Dr. Damon. So I just don't understand why Dr. Damon is so cool with that. And Dr. G, he has to be a little more honest. I'm waiting for him to step up and say, hey, I don't like it. Yeah, we understand. I don't think Dr. G is scared of Damon at all, but I know that Dr. G walks a fine line. I mean, hey, years ago, we even found out that Dr. G and Quad had some really rough times, and it resulted in, some fights and some really, really bad disagreements that, and ultimately, the cops were called. So I think that Dr. G wants to walk a fine line. He doesn't want to lose his cool. He knows what's been already said about him. So he has to kind of pace himself as to for how far he goes with his attitude. But as far as holding a grudge, Dr. G is the male version of Quad. He will hold a grudge. So I don't even think that people even realize that about him. Dr. G is very angry. I don't know if he can even express how angry he is. But when Damon was saying, don't let it spill over into our professional lives, Dr. G said, he tried to give him a little excuse and saying, yeah, I've been busy. I don't want to put too much on my plate. But then in his confessional, he was sort of saying that, basically it was because of what was said. So I don't know if Dr. Damon and Dr. G will get back together, just personally or professionally. There's definitely a wedge there. And until Dr. Damon can acknowledge how bad it was, or what Heavenly said and how bad it was, I don't think that Dr. G will ever really accept, acknowledge them in that way as friends ever again. And I don't hope, I don't even know if he'll ever respect Damon anymore because of what his wife said, or what Damon's wife said. Sometimes, men are not like women. They're not catty. They're not going to go back and forth, but the respect can be lost. And for you to continue to sort of take up for your wife, and you love your wife, you're going to protect her, but to know that Heavenly said something like that and Dr. Damon seems to be minimizing it, I don't think it sits well with any of the guys. Curtis and Damon have become friends because of Heavenly and Jackie's relationship, but I know for a fact Cecil, Eugene, and Scott, they don't like it. They may not ever say it because they're not going to butt in, but they don't like it. Believe me, they don't like it. So that was pretty much the end of the episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know it was kind of long. I tried to throw in some other things, like even with just my story about the fibroids. And I just did that just, to give a little backdrop sometimes of how bad fibroids are. But I thank you for being patient with me. I hope you got something out of it, even if it was just a different perspective, maybe, if you thought about something a little different or you hadn't thought about it that way. I hope that you got something out of it. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Like I said, this is new for me, so I really appreciate the support. And like I said, if you just want to say hello, just say, hey, I watched your video. Hello, I watched your video. I would really appreciate that. So anyway, you guys, I will see you again soon because I will be reviewing the season. So have a wonderful day and I'll see you soon. Bye.